Good afternoon and welcome to one more webinar from Progress India. So these are typical webinars that we do almost every Thursday, second, third and fourth Thursday of every month from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. India Standard Time. We tend to cover mostly the developer topics which can be generic or which are Tellrik focused. For example, today we're going to talk about one of our products called as UI for native script and how do you use that to create charts, all those things. So let's get going. If you are very new to this technology called as native script, well, you better have start looking at it. It's a very fantastic framework or technology or runtime, whatever you want to call it, because I've been programming with Windows applications or Windows mobile applications for quite some time now. I never looked at Android or iOS because apparently I will have to learn Objective-C, I will have to learn Java, but I come from a C# world. But I'm very well versed with JavaScript. I'm very well versed with CSS, right? That was my stack, and I never attempted Android or I never attempted iOS because I need to know all those technologies. But with native script, what we are trying to do is we are letting you build amazing iOS and Android applications with technology you already know. The technology that you already know is JavaScript. The technology that you already know is CSS. The technology you already know is XML, right? So that is our whole premise. You are coming from those technology skills and you want to build an amazing Android and iOS application. Well, we can help you. So take a look at the native script as a technology and then start working towards that. Today's webinar, we are not going to go deep into what is native script because we have already done a couple of webinars on getting started with native script, how do you do enterprise end-to-end application using native script, all those things. So I suggest you take a look at tellerikhelper.net. That's the website where pretty much you will see all the webinars from our side. So just to give you a brief of what exactly is this, well, this is an open source framework for building native mobile apps, truly native mobile apps. If you know JavaScript, you can build it. If you know TypeScript, you can build native mobile app. If you know Angular 2, that is also supported. So it depends on what choice you have as a development language, and then you can start building native mobile applications. So why do you need native script? Well, it is native UI, so there is no phone gap, there is no web view, there is nothing like a HTML, JavaScript, anything. So people often get confused the moment we say JavaScript. Well, JavaScript is no more meant to be run on a browser. Of course, if you are coming from in a web world, you always assume that oh, the JavaScript means it can run only in browser. No, that's not the case. Hope you guys have all heard of Node.js. Node.js is a server-side execution environment, and the language that you use is JavaScript. There is no DOM or there's no document object model in the server, right? There's nothing, but it's just an execution environment. But the development language is JavaScript. So similarly, what we have done is we will create native UI for you, but all you need to do is write your business logic or whatever logic that you have for the application using JavaScript. That's it, right? So JavaScript is the development language in native script, and we let you build native UI, and we will build the native UI. And basically native scripts will adapt to the OS or will adapt to the platform that you're running in, and then it will create the native UI for you, and then you can style it using the language that you already know. That's cascading style sheet, CSS. You write CSS rule and we will apply it onto that native particular component, and that's it. The best is the cross-platform, meaning you will write only one solution or one project, and then you can deploy it to Android or iOS, and soon we're going to come out with Windows 10, meaning one project, one solution, one team. You can build it for Android, you can build it for iOS, you can build it for Windows 10. So that's the whole premise of native script. It's extensible because if you already have investment on any of the existing native components, well, you can reuse them by bringing into your native script projects. We have the concept of TNS plugin or native script plugin. So all you need to do is you just have to create a plugin which says that, hey, native script, I want you to use this particular native component which has been written in Android, or it has written Java, or which has been written in Objective-C, and that's it. And you will be able to completely use the UI or code or whatever you have. So that's why it is extensible. You can pretty much use anything. And the whole of npm is available for you, the node package manager. So any JavaScript library which does not depend on DOM, you can always say npm install that particular library within your native script project. Right, that's why I said extensible. Quick to learn. This is, believe me when I say this, I'm not saying this because I'm an employee here, but when I started with NativeScript like 2 years ago, it kind of, I was able to get on NativeScript very, very quickly. That's because I know JavaScript, I know CSS. The only thing that I had to learn was what is the control NativeScript provides and how do I use that control. That is the only thing that I had to learn, because everything else I know. JavaScript, I know how to write a JavaScript. I'm actually my personal favorite is TypeScript. So I build all my what do you call, the code in NativeScript using TypeScript as a language, because that gives me that object-oriented feeling, because I come from Visual C# for 15 years, so it's hard to get out of that object-oriented paradigm. So TypeScript gives me that. I can create a class, I can create a public property, I can create a private property, I can create a function. Those kind of paradigms is given to me by the TypeScript. So I use NativeScript with TypeScript as a language, but it's up to you. It's either JavaScript or TypeScript or Angular. We support anything that you want to do, and that's why it's very quick to learn, and you don't take much time in learning that, so you can accelerate your learning curve. And it is open source, meaning the NativeScript as a technology, as a runtime or as a framework is open source. It is available as Apache v2 licensing. That means you can use it for your personal, you can use it for your commercial. We don't do anything, we don't charge you at all. It's an open source project. And it is backed by Tellrik, the Progress company. So we as a company have the history of supporting developers, creating our controls for quite some time now. We have been in the business for last 10, 12, 15 years now. So we know what we're doing. So it is the NativeScript, although it is open source, is backed by Tellrik, a Progress company, right? So some of the showcases that you can see here is like, take a look at this. This is one of the, if you go to the showcases section of NativeScript, you will see fantastic commercial applications being built using NativeScript. The simple fact being that these companies want to go to Android and iOS at the same time, and then, meaning I want to build only one project or one solution, and then I want this to go to both the stores. So that's what they get. So these are some of the showcases. Bitpoint's MEVAT, my favorite is MEVAT, fantastically done UI things. And as you can see here, MEVAT, press pause, there's a bunch of things available. This is Twitch is a commercial food ordering application for somewhere in France or something. So people have been doing it with NativeScript. So that's what NativeScript is all about. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our one of the things called as Tellrik Platform. So we have something what we call as Tellrik Platform, where we provide you different services, and we have services for building the application, which is called as App Builder. We have services for Connect, meaning mobile backend as a service. We have the service to deploy. We have the service to App Manage, meaning App Manager. We have the service to measure your code, that is analytics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our editor called as App Builder, and it is easy for me to actually use that and then do a build and then put it onto the device. So the fact I'm using App Builder or our platform is because my machine at this point of time is very, very loaded in terms of the process, so it takes a little bit of time to build it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leverage our cloud. So Tellrik Platform is a public cloud. So the build happens on the cloud, and then the moment the build has happened, I can deploy it onto a device. So I have a Nexus tablet, 7-inch tablet connected to my machine here, my laptop, desktop here, and then the editor builds the code, takes my code, builds it in the cloud, and then comes back and then deploys it onto the machine. And then if you had an iOS application, iOS device, you can do the same thing. You don't need a Mac to build it, because Tellrik Platform can do the build on the cloud. It can do the IPA, that is the iOS package, and then directly put it onto your device that you are connected to a desktop or a laptop. But today I am on a Windows machine and I don't have a iOS device with me. All I have is a Android device. So I've connected the Android device, and let me show you the device. So my device is this. So as you can see here, my device is uh, so this is my Android device, Nexus 7. So that as you can see, I just went into all the apps so that you know that I'm not bluffing. So that's the Android device that I have, and then I will be deploying directly onto this device from my editor. So native script as a technology, what we have done is we have gone ahead and then given you all the bare bones that is required. For example, we have a native script label, native script button, native script list view, native script switch. So what these controls do is they are cross-platform in nature, meaning you just put a button and that's a native script button, but it knows how to render itself on Android or how to render itself on iOS. So you don't have to worry. So we have already built the bare bone controls, as we call it. So let me show you how many controls we have already. So let's go to the native script docs. Okay, as you can see, native script docs is opening up. And if I go to user interface and I look at the components, this is what you get out of the box. So if you see here, it says the button which is there, which is a native script button, renders android.widget.button on Android and UI button on iOS. So that is the concept of native script. We abstract out all the core platform related stuff from you. You just have to use a button, and then we know what to render on Android or what to render on iOS. So that is the whole premise of native script. You are programming at a very high level, and then we know what needs to be done on a specific platform. So out of the box, we give you button, label, text field, text view, search bar, switch, slider, progress, activity indicator, image, list view, HTML view, web view, tab view, segmented bar, date picker, time picker, list picker, and dialogues. So this is already there. You don't have to worry about these things. So the moment you start creating a native script application, these controls are made available to you because of the platform. So the runtime already has it, or the technology already has it. But today I'm not going to be talking about this. Rather, I'm going to be talking about our commercial so this is a licensed product called as UI for native script. So what we provide as part of this is a polish, premium UI controls components, as we call it. So what are the components? Let me show you the components. So we give you charting. As you can see here, we have a charting component, and the chart can do like this. So there's a bar chart, there's a stacked bar chart, there's a 100% stacked bar chart, there's a column chart, and then 100% stacked column chart. So these are this is one of the component that you get as part of the premium suite. That's UI for native script. And then also we have list view. So the list view can do a lot of things. As you can see here, it is going ahead and then doing the animations here. I don't know how the animations are playing in the GoToMeeting, but you get the idea as to what all things the list view can give you. Then we also have site dryer, so very popular navigational model or navigation pattern. As you can see, the dryer comes from the side. You can put anything that you want as a navigation, and then you just go. And then not only that, our site dryer have the capability to come from left or right or top or bottom, so you can bring that up from anywhere. And then we also have a calendar control, so it's very interesting. So calendar, as you can see here, you will be able to pretty much put everything, show the calendar, right? It's not there in the Android native or iOS native, but what we have done is we have created a cross-platform calendar control which looks like this, and then you can readily use that inside the applications. Also, we give you data form. So data form is a technology, or it's kind of a concept wherein, like, if you have a particular data shape, meaning you created a model and the model has, let's say, the first name, last name, uh, maybe age. So that means you have two strings and then one integer, sorry, date time, and then maybe you have some ages integer, and then birth date is a date time. So if you just have that model, this data form can actually create the form for you. You don't have to visually create it. You just tell the data form that, hey, data form, here is my model, and then I want you to spit out the form. Yeah, it will do that for you. It's interesting. You should take a look at that. So today we're going to be paying close attention to the charting component that we have. How do you get started? What do you do in all those things? So some of the things that we have is scatter, and then bubble series also we have. As you can see here, the scatter series just scatters everything. Bubble gives you the bubble. There is a smooth interaction and zooming available. You can select, meaning you can click on a particular series, and then the selection can be made available. We also have provide you the OHLC chart, as they are called as, or a candlestick, open, high, low, close. That's usually used in the what do you call, stock kind of a scenarios. So we do have the annotations, tooltip, trackball, support for multiple axes. As you can see here, there is a chart series, and then there is a bar series, and there is a area series, and all the essential chart series are there, like line, area, spline, whatever typically that you need, it is all there. So this is the control that we're going to be taking a look at today in the demos, and then we start working on that. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I'm going to use our app builder, as we call it. This is the app builder desktop client that we have, and of course you can get this only when you go ahead and then create a what do you call, Tellrik Platform account. But it is not necessary to do what I'm doing. You can always start with NativeScript open source. You can go to command line. So here I'm going to do create an app here, but you just open up a native command line and then say TNS, that is Tellrik NativeScript, create, give the a app name, and then the application will be created, and you start doing the rest of the things that I do. That's it. So typically if you want to just go with the open source version, yeah, that's what you do. But I have a problem today, like somehow my machine so when you go open source way, you do the build on your own machine. So that means if I'm running the open native script on my laptop today, I will be building the APK on my machine, and due to some reason my machine is little slow on the process. It took a lot of time to build the APK, because it's all dependent on the desktop. Not the NativeScript is not building it, but rather NativeScript looks at the Android SDK. Android SDK has that Gradle builds, and then it just takes my code, and then says like Gradle build the code. So then it's all my laptop. My laptop has to provide the process, and then depending on how my laptop is loaded, it's going to be a minute or 10 minutes, right? So before coming on to the webinar, I did try it out, and then some reason my laptop was kind of acting cranky. So luckily we have our editor. We call it as app builder. So this is cool, because now I'm going to just start the project, but the building all happens on my cloud, on our cloud. So I'm not building it on my machine. So it was blazing for me. It was fast. Now it depends on my network, meaning my broadband, whatever connection that I have, right? So that's the only disclaimer. That is, whatever I'm trying to do, you can do it with NativeScript open source. All you need to do is go to the command line, and then you, instead of clicking a button, you will say TNS create an application name, and that's it, and you're up and go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say create app. This is our app builder desktop client, and notice here I have an option of selecting NativeScript or hybrid, or even I can go advanced. So what I will do is I will say I want to build NativeScript, and I want to build maybe a TypeScript way of doing things, and I will say NativeScript blank. So meaning just give me a blank screen or whatever. Right, and then what else we have? Master detail, tabbed app. Well, maybe just to give you a heads up as to how this whole native script looks like, let me create that. I'm going to create a native script master detail, or maybe a tabbed app to show you how the native UI looks like. So let me do that. NS tab app TS, meaning that's TypeScript. So I'm going to just go here and then say okay, in the command prompt, if you're trying this, what you will need to do is, you won't get this template called as tabbed app. You will have to just say TNS create my app name, and then pass -tsc. So that's what you do in a command line. But here in the app builder, I'm going to show you how easy it is. So I just click on this, and then I say this, and then I say create app, and that's it. Now it's creating an app. Everything is on my cloud. The source code will be cached on my machine, but it's going to be uploaded onto the server because the package has to happen there. And notice here, this is fantastic because this particular editor has already detected that I have my Nexus 7. So that is why I like our editor here. So, I don't have to worry about, okay, go ahead, do deploy and all those stuff. So it already knows about this. And notice here I have a run menu item here on the top. It says build and deploy. Build means it's going to just build the package, but build and deploy means, hey, I have figured out that you have a device connected to your laptop, so I can deploy it directly onto that. So do you want me to do that? So that's what it is. So I will say build and deploy. So when I do build and deploy, it goes to the server, takes the source code, goes to the server, and then builds the code, creates the APK, comes, downloads it, and then directly publishes onto the device that I have, right? Remember the device that I showed you. So that's what we'll see. So now in order to do that, what I will do is I'm going to bring in the Nexus 7 on this side, and then I'm going to dock this guy a little bit on this side. Okay, why is it not? Okay, I think that's the max I can do on this guy. So that's okay. So now what I'm going to do is, notice here, it has already detected I have a device. So this is the output. Let me clear the output. So now I'm going to say build and deploy. Notice what is happening. It says build solution started, ns tabbed app, item added to solution, item added to solution, all those things. That's because, remember I said this is a TypeScript. So TypeScript has to be converted into JavaScript. So it's going to convert TypeScript to JavaScript, and then notice there we have the app main page.ts, all those things coming up. If you take a look at the structure of the application itself, it's very simple. I have main page.xml. Remember I talked about UI being done as an XML. So that is as simple as that. So I'm saying, hey, I need a tab view, and tab view item is so and so. Here's the first tab, here's the second tab, and then the code behind for this is a TypeScript file. Notice here it looks pretty similar to what you have already been doing. It's almost as similar, but couple of things that change out is this one. It says args colon and then event data. That is nothing but, in TypeScript, this is the way you say whether a particular variable or an object is of what type. So args is of the type event data, and the args.object is of the type page. And the page is the root level, and then it says deploy application started, and now you can see on my Nexus that it's going to now fire up the application now as soon the app will be launched. So it says deploying on my device. It's at 80% completion state, so that means it's just bringing it down, and then it's already built the APK. If you see there, it says build solution finished, ns tab app ts has been done, deploy application started, ns tab app ts.apk. So that's how easy it is. So I do not have to worry about that. In fact, this usually takes like a 30 to 40 second if I build it on my local laptop, because it's now my local laptop has to provide the process, everything. But since we go to the cloud, I don't have to worry. So deploy application finish, and we should see the app launch any moment. Actually, it's already launched on my Nexus tablet. Looks like okay, there we go. So now it's coming up. I hope you guys are able to see this. The tab app has 2 tabs. Let me go back to the main page.xml. Okay, he's syncing all the files. And this is another interesting thing with our editors. It says syncing. That's because what we do is we have this concept of live sync. Once you are done an APK, that's all it is. So you make any changes, it will automatically be synced without recreating the APK. So that's something patented technology that we have. What we do is we directly go take your code and then inject it into the package that's running on the device. So we have first and then second tab. Notice this is a native UI. whereas all you're creating is you're just creating an XML, right? So let's say I want to go ahead and then let's say I want to change something here. This is the content of the first step. I will say um, let's say I'm going to say native script rocks. I'm going to just save it, and notice in the below it's going to start doing a sync now, and then at any moment there you go, on the right hand side the application went down. It's going to come up now and we will see native script rocks. I did not have to build or do anything. So that's the live sync that I was talking about. Fantastic technology that we have. This is what you need for your productivity, because otherwise what happens is all I did was a simple line of code change. It's a textual change, right? For that, you don't have to build the full APK. So that's what we do. The live sync concept is just that we know what you changed, and notice in the my output window it says synced main page.xml to the companion app on this particular device. So that's what it does. It is syncing all the code that you have and then does that. So having said that, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to just go back to the dashboard, and then I will say create a new app, advanced TypeScript native script, and then I will say blank. So I want to just start blank. So I will say ns charting app, and we will start seeing how to start using the charts or in all those things that we have. I'm going to say create app. So now what you will need to do is you can always go and then do a trial of our UI for native script, because the charting is available as part of the UI for native script. You just have to go to our website, products, click on UI for native script, and then you will be landing into the product overview page. In the product overview page, there are two things. You can take a look at the pricing of that particular component, or you can download this component for free. We provide you 30 days of trial. So what you can do is you can always go ahead, download a trial. So in order to showcase that this is how you do it, so I have actually gone ahead with a workflow of a trial. So on my machine, I've already downloaded a trial edition of Tellrik UI for native script. So let me show you where it is. So here is my trial. If you notice here, it says Tellrik UI for native script trial. So this is what I have already downloaded, right? So if you go inside this folder, you will see documentation, examples like license agreement and packages. We ship the complete SDK example as a native script project. What you need is inside these packages there is a TGZ file. It's nothing but a kind of a zip file. So this is where the native script UI controls are there, or UI for native script. There is a chart control, the calendar control, everything is inside this particular um, package. So what we will need to do is hang on, so I need to get out of this zoomer. Okay, there we go. So I've already downloaded it. So that is what you will need to do. Go to our website, click on download free trial, get it downloaded. If you want to purchase it, all you need to do is buy it. So then we give you the production bits or the licensed bits. Now because I'm using a trial, what happens is every time I bring up my UI, meaning a chart in a certain some page, you will see a dialog box coming, a alert coming saying like, hey, you are using native script for UI for native script trial edition, so you should purchase it. So that's okay, just to showcase what we have, right? So that is all I've done. So now I'm going to go back to our editor. Let's take a look at the new project that has been created. Notice here I have a main page.xml, and there is nothing, it's blank. And then I have main page.ts. Well, again, it's nothing, there's a blank. So what we will need to do is first we will need to come back here and then say like on loaded is equal to, we have to say on loaded, and we need to write this particular logic. So for that, what we will need to do is we'll need to say import from UI/page. So this is UI page is a module that we have. So I need the page. As you can see, it is doing an auto correction, auto completion. So then I also need import event data from UI slash observable, sorry, data slash observable. So that's where it is there. So now we need to do something. So we export function, and what did we name here? So we said onloaded. So I'm going to say onloaded. This is a function, but what is the input for that function? Well, so this guy is going to be args, and then he is event data. And now here I can say let page is equal to args dot, sorry, object, and this I will cast it to, so this is interesting, right? So I'm casting a particular variable to a particular type. So that's what TypeScript provides you. This is why I like it. So where is semicolon expected? I have given everywhere. So then what we need to do is page has a binding context. So we need to set something as a binding context to this, right? So for this, what I will do is I'm going to create a main page view model in a moment, right? So let's say I'm going to go ahead and then say import. We're going to create main page view model in a moment, where from I will create a file in a moment. So I'm going to call it as main view model, right? So that's what I'm going to do in a moment now. So I'm going to save this guy, I'm going to save this guy, and then what we will do is create a new file, add new file, and this is going to be a TypeScript file. I'm going to say main-view-model, and then I'm going to say .ts. So this is where my interesting part starts. So I am from C# background. I come from an object-oriented background. So this is where I like TypeScript very much. So I can say, let me get an observable object, and I will say from data slash observable, right? So that's where I am. Now take a look at what happens. I can create class main view model is extends observable, meaning I'm inheriting from the observable. That's it. I created a class now, and what I need is a constructor now. So, and in the constructor first I need to call super. You know, that's how the TypeScript mandates it, meaning if you're inheriting from a parent, you better make sure that you call the parent constructor first. So let's say I want to create a property now, right? So I'm going to say private underscore foo is a string, and now I need to create public get foo. I'm going to say foo, and then this is a string, and we will say return this dot underscore foo. Okay, did I make a mistake? Yeah, this is like this, and then I'm going to say public set foo, but this expects a message, or I mean a string. Then I can say, like, return this, sorry, we need to set this. So I'll say this dot underscore foo is equal to v, and then I can say this dot notify property change, meaning, hey, this property changed. So if somebody is listening to that, they will get a notification as to the change. You go and then do something. And then also what I will do is for now, just to start, at constructor, that is when the class is created, I'm going to say this dot foo is equal to at initialization, right? And then I will also create a function, let's say change foo, and this will be like, this dot foo is equal to you clicked or you'll say you changed foo, right? So just a thing. So notice here what I'm doing, I'm not using the private variable, but rather I'm using the public setter, so that when I do the public setter, it will go and then say like, hey, something changed, so it will notify somebody. So now I'm going to come back to main page.xml, and here I will say I need a grid layout. So we usually start with grid layout, and we will close this guy, and I need to say how many rows it has. For now I'm going to just say rows star, and then calls is equal to star, and I will say label, and the text property I can always do a data binding, and this goes to foo, it bounds to the foo. So now one more thing we need to do is we need to export the main view model. So I will say exports var main view model is equal to new main view model. So it's like I'm creating a variable. So where does it require semicolon? Here. Yeah, export var main view model is equal to new. I've done that. So now when I go here, so notice here, cannot find module main view model. So what did I give? Main view hyphen model, and it's in the current. Yeah, that's correct. So now I'm going to go here, copy this variable name, and I will say main page ts is equal to this guy, export function unloaded, this one, and then here, yeah, just let's call it as main view model. That's fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on run, deploy, and build, so that it comes onto my because it's still loaded the old application. So we need to just do once build and deploy, and then we can start working on that. So now it's gonna just do a foo initial. So I have not put a button, so I should have put a button. Okay, let's see what happens. It's now building it for the Android, and then it's going to deploy it onto the device. Next, what I will do is I will bring in the UI for native script. I already downloaded the trial version, the tgz file. That's a zip file, and we will include that into the project, and then we'll let the project know that, hey, I'm depending on this particular dependency, which is a file. If you are doing it in the native script open source, there is a command line. You just have to say tns plugin add, and then give a path to that particular zip file, and then it will automatically include that zip file into your project, and then it will build. When it is building it, it's going to package it. So now it has synced all the application. Now we should see the app coming up in any moment. So if you have any questions, just put it onto the Q&A panel. I will be able to, constantly keep a track on that. So it is synced all the files. Why is it not coming up? It has synced. Okay, let me just quickly check what is happening. Maybe I'll make a one-line change and then just save it. It should sync back. TypeScript compiled, main page.ts sync main page.js.map to the companion app on my device. So where is that? It should have come back. So what did we name? We named it as NS charting app, and it has not done this. So let me just go quickly build and deploy. Not sure what has happened. So it has not put the app onto the device. So we have called it as NS charting app, but I don't see NS charting app, whereas I see NS tab app being there. Let's give it a couple of seconds for it to go build it. So if you have any questions, so I'm going to take a look at the questions. So do log a question if you have any. Since it's doing the build on the cloud and I'm now at the mercy of the internet, I'm supposed to be on a fast broadband like 100 Mbps line. Not sure what is happening. Okay, it's done. Synced all files to the companion app and this one. And oh, it is failed. Not sure what is happening. It should have built it. I'm just trying to check something here, so just give me a second. I'm gonna just see. I don't know why it's failed. So what do we have? Okay, it is failing to build. It says error invalid attribute. Well, okay, let's do one thing. Let's get back to whatever we had previously built. And that was the NS tab app TS. So I'm going to just use this and then get to going because we already spent too much of time. So we are back to this guy, as you can see. Yeah, so we're back into the tab app. So let's get start working here. We have app main page.xml and then we have the main page.ts also. As you can see, it's the same thing. There's nothing much doing. So they have an empty context here. So it's been created like this. So but otherwise I can create a new file and then bring it in. So that's not a problem. So now what we have to do is we need to get the plugin, that is the UI for native script, the this one. So for that what we need to do is we just need to say add existing files. In your case, if you're doing a command line, so you just have to say tns plugin add and then the path to that particular file where you kept the zip file. So I'm going to say select, and notice here it is kept in a particular folder in my desktops or laptop. So I'm just going to give it a path to that and I'm selecting that. Now I'm going to say upload. So what it does is it picks up this upload particular um, the package, that is the zip file, and then uploads it to the project. It still hasn't shown it up here. That's because the as you can see here, it says synced native script UI-pro.tgz to the application package. So we'll see, there you go. So we are seeing now the tgz file coming up here. But what we need to do is we need to go open up this file called as package.json, and in the package.json, in the dependencies section, what we will need to do is we'll need to say we depend on native script -UI-pro, and this can be found in a file called as native script UI-pro.tgz. So this is important. You need to make sure you tell your package have that, because when we do the build, we look at the package and we restore the package, because on the build server, yeah, I mean you won't have it pre-built, right? So what we will do is we'll know that, oh, okay, this is what you will need to do and during the building. So that's what we need to do. So now what I can do is I can go back to main page.xml and then I can remove all these things that we have done previously. You know, we don't need a tab view now. So what I will do is I will say, hey, I don't want this. I need grid layout. and in the grid layout what we will do is we'll start putting the chart. So what I'm gonna do is first let's take a look at maybe the bar chart, how to plot a bar chart here. So what I will do is I'll go to main page.ts and notice here I have this observable created. In the observable itself, what I can do is I can say like, hey, observable, you have the chart data, and the chart data is actually an array. So I'm just using some hard-coded strings. You can always get it from a web service or whatever it is. So we have a couple of things, country and then some amount, blah blah blah. So just a um, some data to just plot the things. So here what I need to do is first I will need to go ahead and include a namespace so that our charts can be found. So for that namespace what we will need to do is we will need to come back here and then add the namespace. The namespace is like this, so let me show you. And here is the namespace. So you just say XMLNS, that's the XML namespace, colon chart, meaning I'm creating a particular things here. So it's native script Tellrik UI pro slash chart, and then that's all I need to do. And then we'll start using the okay, I made a mistake, so that just give me a second. The dependency that we need to add is actually package.json, and then you have to say native script Tellrik UI Pro, so that's the namespace that it has, and then it is inside this particular file. So this is what we will need to do. So I'm going to save this, then come back to main page.xml, and here what we'll do is so it has reloaded, so that means I lost all my the UI stuff that I had done. So let me come here and then again just get rid of this guy. I will say grid layout, and then this is grid layout, and well, we'll say rows is equal to star, then calls is equal to star, meaning I take all the whole area that's there out there, so just go and then use everything, I mean occupy everything. So that's what this means. Then calls is equal to star, and then now I'm going to come here and then add the namespace again. So because without the namespace nothing will work. We are telling the our UI builder that yeah, go take a look at that, so you will find the definition in there. So I'm going to copy the namespace instead of you typing me what I'm doing. So I will say XML namespace. Yeah, there you go. So we have chart as a namespace now, and then we do native script Tellrik UI Pro slash chart. So that's all we do. Now, how do you start putting the chart? Well, it is very simple. You just come in first and then say chart colon, and then we have rad Cartesian chart. This is the any Cartesian thing that you want to do, and then you will say items is equal to, and remember we have bound a chart data variable. So I just say this, and then it needs to know what is the category property, right? What should be used to bind the category. So I will say I have a country field, and then what is the value property, meaning okay, I understand the x-axis now, and then what is the y-axis that you want to bind. So it's usually the amount that we will give. So this is a chart, and there you go. And now this is okay, but I need to say what kind of series it has to do. Oh, I made a mistake. So this is not here. The items and all is actually on the series, not on the rad Cartesian chart. So this is the rad Cartesian chart, and I can give it an ID just to know, just Cartesian chart. Now we need to say chart rad Cartesian chart dot series. We need to start adding the series now, right? So what series do I need is what it's asking me. So I will say, hey, first go ahead, let's do a line series. I think I said bar, but we'll do a line first and then we'll take a look at how the other things work. So now I'm going to give it the items for it. So the series has the items property. So you need to provide the data to that. And then you need to tell the category, the value category and all those things. Once you have done this, the other things that we need to do is we need to say what kind of x-axis it has to do. So we say chart colon line series dot horizontal axis. We need to tell what the horizontal axis is all about. So you will say chart colon categorical axis, and then I need to also say what is the vertical axis that we will be plotting. Is it a category, is it categorical, or what is it? So typically the y-axis is a linear axis, so we will say, hey, this is a linear axis and this is vertical. So this is as simple as it can get. So all you're doing is you're saying, hey, I want to write Cartesian chart, and the chart will have a series, and what kind of series do I need? So I'm saying I need a line series, and the items for that line series is usually from a Okay, so I'm having some errors, so let me take a look at that. I'll come back to that. So it's saying here's the category property, here's the value property, the chart is a line series, horizontal axis, categorical axis, the vertical axis is a linear axis, and we close down all the guys. So line series and then rad Cartesian chart, all those things. So now what has happened is I'm trying to load it, and then it has given me a big error message. So I need to track back as to where I've done wrong. So I have native script uipro.tgz. So in the packages I've said native script Tellrik UI Pro, and then I've also said file colon native script, package.json, then we say native script hyphen Tellrik UI hyphen pro, and then we say file colon native script hyphen pro.tgz. So this is correct. Then what you do is you go back to the app main page.xml, and in the main page.xml all we do is we first put the chart namespace, XML namespace, so that is XML ns colon chart native script Tellrik hyphen UI hyphen pro slash chart, and then everything seems to be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a build and deploy just to make sure, like, usually sometimes the live sync will have a little bit of sync issues because it's trying to go ahead and then just replace the file, but whereas I've added a new thing. So I added the TZZ, the UI Pro, the zip file. So let's just build it once and then make sure everything is fine. But otherwise, using the chart is as simple as that. So we have a lot of series like this. So the series will be anywhere around the bar, the range bar, the line. So I'm showcasing the line now. So you can do a spline, you can do area, you can do bubbles, scatter, pie, all those things. Financially, you can do OHLC, and then you can do candlestick, kind of a chart. So I'm just trying to build this, and then let's give it a couple of seconds. I'm going to look at any questions if there are any. Maybe in the meantime I can show you our native script samples demo that we have. So let me launch that. So this is a native script samples demo which is showcasing UI for native script, and I will say get started, and notice here it's doing a lot of what do you call the animation. So this is the NativeScript demo app which has been built in NativeScript. And here are the examples for the charting that you see here. So I have a bar chart, I have the line series, I have the area series. So let me click on bar series, and there you go. So this is the typical example that we have. So there is one, now this is a stacked bar, and I have a stacked bar 100%. So it takes the 100% width and height. Then there's a column chart. Again, a column stacked 100%. And then let's go back and take a look at the area chart. And again, multiple series of the area. You can do a spline, meaning the smooth line. Then I can go to the area series. Here is the multi-series line. This is 100% stacked. This is smooth line, on the area. Then we have the pie series. So you can click on a pie, it will kind of explode, as we call it. Here is the 100% things, and here's a donut. So you can create a donut also. So these are the different series that are available, along with the um, this one. I'm not sure what is happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to an earlier created application. I don't know what step I missed, but this is what we always do. We create pre-hand everything and then keep it ready. So no, not this one. So yeah, this is the one. So let me get inside the components and then home view. Let me just show you the app itself first. I've done the same stuff. So there's a view model. So this view model has this chart data, and the chart data is being used in the UI. So as you can see here, I actually placed a rat pie chart. I was just practicing here, and then notice here I've said items chart data, and then value properties amount. We don't have a legend label, so it's fine. So and then I also placed a donut chart, rat pie chart, but the series is actually a donut series. So now what I can do is, if I go to the device, it's slightly a different way UI that you're seeing here. There is a home view. I click on it and it takes me to another screen. This is the dialog that I was talking about. When you use a trial version of our UI for native script controls, you usually get this dialog which says this is a trial, right? You say okay, and notice here it's the same data, but it is bound to two different series. One, I have a rat pie chart bound to a donut series. One, I have a rat pie chart bound to a pie series, right? Let's say you want to quickly see the bar chart. How does it look like, right? So remember, I coded the bar chart. I can do the same stuff here. So what I can do is I can come in here and then I can say that, hey, you know what? I want a bar chart, but I'm going to keep it at 300, height 300. So I will say I need a bar chart. So the series is this. So instead of this, I'm going to say give me chart data. Sorry. So I'm going to say chart data, and here I will say height equals 300. And it's the same thing. So I've said bar series, items is chart data, category properties, country, value properties, amount. It's a categorical axis, the y-axis is a linear axis, and then that's it. So now let's save this, and the code should be synced onto my device. So let's wait for it. And as you can see, now the code is getting synced and it will relaunch the app. Yes, the app has been relaunched. And as you can see, it says synced homeview.xml to the companion app. And I'm going to click on this home view. And there we go, we have a fantastically looking bar chart. So in the same screen, I'm able to create a bar chart, a pie chart, a donut chart, right? Uh, so that's a couple of things that you can do. So what I'm going to do is I will put a scroll view here so that we can scroll. let's see if scroll view can. Okay, we need to do grid layer also, because scroll view cannot be the top level layout. You need to have one of the layouts. So that's okay. So now what I'm going to do is, let's see if we can create some bubble chart, right? Just to showcase how easy it is to create all the stuff. In the same page, I'm trying to take everything. So I will say I have to create a couple of data models now. So what I will do is I will say um, high data is equal to in some. I'm just trying to create some data here, so let's give me a couple of seconds. Let me create this. So I have an high data, then I have a mid data. The bubble chart uses the high, mid, and low kind of a concept to plot the bubbles. So I can do this, and then I can say low data is like this. It's basically the bubble chart is all about looking at the density over a period of time or something like that. The bubbles show the density, big bubbles, dense bubbles versus low bubbles. So that's what it is. So I've created the high data, mid data, low data. And next what we need to do is we need to come back here to, and we need to plot the chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, instead of you seeing me type it, I will come back here just before this chart. I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to explain you what we are doing here. So I'm going to set the height to 300. So same, we are saying vertical axis is a linear axis, and then the horizontal axis is again a categorical axis, and then we are just saying where uh, what do you call, the category axis should be placed, then the title or the name of the category axis where it should be placed. So we are saying it's a bottom, and then label fit mode is rotate. So there is going to be too much of data coming up, so I want the title to be rotated, and rotation angle is 1.2, so it's 120 degrees being rotated or something like that. And then here is the series. We have three series. One series for high data, one series for mid data, and one series for low data. So and notice here we have set scale is 5, category property is year, value property is this, bubble size property is impact. So the impact of that particular data item is what is going to be shown as a bubble. So let's go back and then see how this looks like. So I have saved it, so it has to go sync it now. And the code has been synced now. Let's click on home view, and there you go. So we have the bubbles coming up. So there are 3 bubbles series coming up. One bubble series we have we given the high data, other bubble series we are given the mid data, other bubble series we are given the low data, and then it is been able to plot it based on whatever bubbles you have. And now I have a scroll view is here. Remember I put a scroll view? That's because I want to just scroll up and down. So the scroll view can make sure that if you have more items than whatever is being seen on the UI, it can go ahead and then provide you a scroller. You don't see it, but yeah, your user can actually swipe up and down, and then the page scrolls. So this we have reached the 1 hour mark. There are a couple of things. I mean, we have a lot of series available like a bar, and I can just keep showing you everything. So I hope you get an idea as to how easy it is by using UI for NativeScript, our commercial suite for NativeScript. You can now start getting charts. So similarly, calendar can be used, or whatever, all the premium controls that we have. But the point is, if you need any premium things like this, yeah, you will need to purchase this particular suite that we have. But the NativeScript as a technology, as a runtime, or as a framework is free. So it is always free. You can always do from the command line. I used our app builder, which is our commercial editor that we have, just to showcase the fact that if you use this, it is as easy as this. I don't have to do build or anything. It does automatically the builds. It syncs the file with the device, so you get your things done more faster, more productively, instead of you spending time in building. So if you go the open source way, so it's all command line, and you will have to build it on your machine depending on how how your hardware of your machine is. It takes a lot of things to get things rolling faster. But with this, I didn't have to do anything. It's all done on the cloud, and it just comes and then syncs the file onto my device, and then as you can see, my device is immediately getting all the update of the whatever we have built. So take a look at a couple of all these things that I've showcased today. So native script, you can always go take a look at native script. What is it? How do you do everything here in the nativescript.org? And if you go to tellrikhelper.net, I already done a lot of webinars on native script, so you can get another videos there. Take a look at that. Then the Tellrik platform is available here. So tellrik.com/platform. The UI for native script is available also on our product page, so you can take a look at that, download the trial edition, all those things. I hope today's webinar kind of give you a heads up as to what UI for native script is all about. How do you work with the charts, whatever we have, and how easy it is to bind data, how easy it is to kind of provide it data at runtime, and then all those things. I showed the static data, but keep in mind that it's just for the demo, but you can always go hit a web API, let it send you a JSON, and then just bind it to your data object. And then the moment you bind it to your data object, because of the data binding that we have, the chart will get the updated data, and then they will show whatever data that's coming from the server. So I'm going to stop recording now, and then thank you very much for everybody who has attended this webinar. Hope you learned something new today, and then we expect to see you in our future webinars also, and stay tuned.